right high.
Yeah, right. It's just like fitting RGB, flat RGB lens fitting. The lid will drag the lenses up and you can sit high. So at you end up with a smiley face, lens fit superior, right? This is a smiley face. Just look at, by looking at the tangential rings here, you see, yeah, the tangential rings is not at the center, but superior. This is another one. So after trial fitting, you have smiley face. What we're going to do is to
Stiffen the lens.
stiffen up the lens. Yeah? Stiffen the lens by choosing the next reference case, steeper reference.
So 4225 down to 4275.
And do an overnight trial again. Or do it overnight trial. Right? Or if you confident enough, you know, is straight away, I can have my own parameters. Okay, for beginners, you have to do it. Okay. Now this is another one, stick lens. Excessive apical clearance. We have excessive apical clearance, then you don't have the central applanation force, the positive force, and hence you get this central. It's causing the cornea tissue to bulge up instead of flatten. Okay? Alright, those. Now this is central island. If you have a central island, you know that you need to flatten the lens by select the next flat the lens. How to do that?
You can change the AC. Okay? Sometimes you can ask them to adjust the sagittal height, right? Flatten the RC reversible.
In fact, you can send this map to the lab to look at it and design the lenses for you as well. Yeah. I like to design my own lens. The central island in the tangential form. Okay? This is the one that I would like to stress. You look at it, it's like, whoa, it's central island. And then you think like, well, this is a steep lens, right? But in fact it's not. By looking at the fluorescent staining, cornea staining, this is not caused by the steep lenses, but rather it is caused by the lens which causing apical touch to the cornea apex. Meaning the trial lens that you use is too flat. Another interpretation is that the lens sagittal height is
Too low.
Lower than the cornea sagittal height. Don't think of sagittal height. And therefore you have a mechanical rubbing, the back surface of the lens rub against the cornea epithelium and causing the erosion. The erosion confuses the Maya is distorted, confuses the topography, the software, and to give you this central island. We call it fixed central island. Here you got to be careful. You have to steepen the lens. You wait until the cornea erosion or SPK to subside, then you do a refit. Okay? Frowny face. I know you like it.
But sometimes frowny face is okay for Asian.
Yeah, because of tight lips.
Because of tight
Tight
lips.
lips. Yeah, frowny face.
But sometimes it's good for myopia control.
For myopia control. But for adults, you want to be screaming at you. Yeah? Adults screaming at you.
So we can talk about this, about myopia control, concentration.
Yeah, we talk about it later. This one. Yeah.
Okay, then just go quickly.
But sometimes it's very hard to rectify. Okay? Sometimes very hard. Perhaps we may need a sclera okay. Then, other part, sorry.
So when we said about the smiley one with the unhappy one, which is the other side, the lens is a bit too steep. So it too steep, it's just going down a bit more. Okay, that's just you can see the concentration in the inferior.
Also, I would like to point out, you look at this Excel map. You see, The lens, just now, as what Ollie said, the water will move to the lower area. And the lens will move to the, when you fit on the cornea, it will set equilibrium. And the best equilibrium point is that it will move to the steeper area. When you interpret the cornea topography here, you notice that is what happened to the cornea toricity. It's steeper inferiorly, right? Than the superior. So if you even use the toric lenses, you may not solve the corneal phase problem. So what you need is I think Steve can handle this.
But that's why we sort of look at like what we call fluid dynamics. Yeah, and that's why we are Asians, we all have the Tai Chi, trying to get things all balanced, so we can get a lens nicely center. The important part is to make sure the corneal integrity is in good condition.
So you can solve it by customizing lenses. We try to do that. So what I'm going to show you is that if you have a trial lens like this one, then you might not solve this corneal phase problem because the lens always move inferiorly, sit inferiorly because of the asymmetry of cornea. They do sit inferiorly. The curvature do sit inferiorly. Okay? Lateral decentration. This is a bit hard to solve. It's hard to solve. Okay? Sometimes it's hard to solve. Again, you look at the pre and post. Sometimes no matter what the code, you solve it according to the textbook, it still sit laterally. Right? This is the tangential pattern. See the donut rings? We move laterally. It can either nasal or temporal. Okay, decentration. So the first thing you want to solve is to order the bigger lens. They cannot be too big. The bigger lens can solve the problem, then you attempt to increase the OZD. Hoping that we hope that the treatment zones fall within the cornea, the pupil zone. Okay? Right. Again, the symmetry cornea, as I said, see? Cornea symmetry. So the lens will always right laterally. So another one, symmetry cornea. Sometimes not easy to solve. That is not that common, not that common as a cornea. Steeper inferior cornea also, the lens right low, slightly lower. Yeah. This is another assembly cornea. Okay. Toric design. When do you use toric design?
When the toricity is too high.